Hi guys, welcome to another Trading Card Talk Monday. It's a lovely Monday actually. It's windy, it's rainy and it's sunny. Actually, we don't know because we're not there yet. But here, well, anyway, we have Joe.
Hello.
Omnipoke. So last time you were very popular actually on our channel. Your video did incredibly well.
Thank you. It was mostly because they thought I was someone else, though.
Ed Sheeran. With Ed Sheeran. There was a few comments, but to be fair, you actually brought a lot of valuable insight and knowledge, which was cool. It was nice to have someone else sitting here who actually knew what they were talking about.
No. It was nice to have someone here who knew what they were talking about.
That's probably fairer.
Yeah.
We are going to go controversial today. We are talking about the divergence of Pokemon card collecting, the haves versus the have-nots, potentially, the collectors of old against the collectors of new who are coming into the hobby. Very controversial, this one. Joe was actually telling me we can't do this topic, and he said that we should just be talking about Darkness Ablaze.
Not
Okay,
strictly
so
true.
what is your argument?
Right, so the argument is there is a lot of new collectors out there now. I think we couldn't disagree with that. Darkness Ablaze, Hidden Fates, all of that has brought in a whole swathe of collectors, and they're coming in PSA grading.
A swathe.
Yeah, loads of them. And that's great. We love it. A graded gem keeps submitting your cards, and you'll keep getting returns. But then on the other side of that, we have collectors who were around 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years ago even, who bought up first edition sets, bought up first edition PSA 10s, PSA 9s, PSA 8s for pennies on the pound nowadays. And if you were not clever enough, but if you kept them, even if you just kept them by accident, you've ended up...
Are we already judging people based on their intelligence on if they kept some Pokemon cards?
No, that's not a judgment. But if you kept them, then you then have now a lot of value in assets. You have a value in what people would call a net worth. And those people, obviously, can buy cards a lot easier than new people coming into the hobby.
Would you say they can super scoop them up?
Yeah, they can super scoop them up. So I guess the question I'm posing to people to my left is basically, is there a divergence in Pokemon card collecting, and do we have two different sets of collectors now?
I think there's definitely going to be two sets of collectors. There are going to be those people who have been around for a long time, already built what you now call a position, which was previously just a variety of cards. Yeah. And there'll be people who have a much smaller scope. They'll be focusing in on one set that they like, one species that they like, and they have to be content with those cards and accept that there will be plenty of cards in the hobby that they can enjoy, vicariously, but not for themselves. And at the end of the day, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't really need to have these things in your possession to still enjoy the hobby.
That's very true.
Take part, anything like that. But there's also a kind of like toxic mentality going around of like being really butthurt that you couldn't buy that card anymore.
Yeah.
Or that, it doesn't make sense to what this price is anymore. I would never buy that card for that price. It doesn't matter because someone will.
Yeah.
So I think that's also something that is sort of needs to be addressed in the hobby, and it's because it's so fast that there's a lot of different emotions going on right now, and not always reasonable emotion going on right now.
No, definitely not.
So yeah, it's super interesting time in the hobby.
No, it is interesting. I think you're right, actually. It was the scale of the growth, because it went from collecting cards at, like, let's say $3,000 for a whole PSA 10 first edition set, and then it jumped up to $20,000. It didn't go 6 in a year, then 9. Like, it just went monumentally curved.
Yeah.
And that has definitely led to some collectors, like you say, building a position, and that means that maybe those cards are now not available to the newer collectors because of that. Tom, this is actually an interesting one for you. You do not have any position.
No.
You do not have any PSA 10 cards. You do have them, but they're not.
However, I see more cards than anyone and get to enjoy more cards than literally pretty much anybody in the hobby.
Yeah, no, I would.
So, like, I since I've started working with, like, graded gem, I say working because it's playing with Pokemon cards for the most part. Yeah. Like, I don't need to collect these cards. I see my favourite card, the Gold Star Pikachu, probably twice a month.
Yeah.
Different copies of it. Like, I see all these cards more than most human beings will ever see Pokemon cards. Like the rare ones, the cool ones. Like, surely if you're opening booster boxes, you get to see, I see the same cards over and over again. I see every single card that there is.
Yeah, but that's cool. But I guess if you weren't here, would you even care about those cards?
No, I've always gone, like, when I've gone out with friends, I've always bought a pack or two and opened it. But I've never gone, I need these on a shelf. I never really knew it existed, really, until you did it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, that was the original.
Yeah.
Not joking. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. So you don't feel like new collectors coming in will look at the older collectors, but there is definitely some of that going on.
There are some people who nostalgia hits them like a train and then they get salty. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, you don't have them.
The thing is, you can just be happy with commons and uncommons of those sets as well. You know, if you love Charizard, you can go for Charmander if you want to.
Yeah.
If there's a first edition copy, you can go for an unlimited copy.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be steps. You know, even in grades, you can go down steps. If you really just want to collect in terms of the varsity of your cards, rather than like a collection of one or two very key pieces, you can go wide if you really want to.
I think that's a key point, actually. The base set Charizard, let's use that as an example. There is a massive difference between a raw beaten up Charizard and a PSA 10 Charizard. They're still the same card.
Yeah.
You know, they were still released at the same time. Yes, one's worse condition, but who's to say that's not as important to you as a collector?
Yeah. Well, I bet I could give most of the people I grew up with playing Pokemon and Evolutions Charizard, and they wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
I'd be like, here you go. Here's something for your childhood. And they'd be like, oh, wow, that's sick.
Yeah, and they would just appreciate that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
Well, it's
care.
the artwork. It's the same artwork.
I guess that was so key in bringing in a lot of people to see their old cards, and they could almost pretend
Yeah.
it was the old cards. I think the Charizard, well, the chat Charizard's impossible to get a 10 on anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
As we know at Graded Gem. So can someone please just submit a PSA 10 copy?
No, don't submit the PSA 10. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why would you grade it again? But yeah, we do want to see one of those.
Yes, for sure.
But like, again, if you can't get unlimited, go for base set 2 or go for a legendary collection.
True.
Obviously, I mean, they're not super cheap, but they're other copies.
What's really weird is because of price rises, a lot of people are looking at it from a different perspective now. People are really judging you as like, is that going to go up or down in the future? It's a lower grade. It's got a bit of damage. But like, if you're just here to collect the cards and just want to have it, don't worry about any of that noise. Like, it's like, this is your card that you're keeping for yourself. We, who have been here like 10 years earlier, we honestly didn't care about like most of the value of these cards. We were just picking these up as and when because they were really cool cards, and we just like happened to hoard them or whatever for longer than other people did. And it's like, you can still be doing that whole collecting thing if you want to, and just like don't listen to the people who are saying that like that won't go up as much as this other card.
Yeah, prices
really
have become more and more important, haven't they?
Yeah.
I would say 3-4 years. When I was working my night shifts and picking up these really cool cards every month, I'd be like, oh wow, I got this card, and I'd have that excitement. But like the price didn't matter.
Then you'd eat beans for a month.
Yeah, like no, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm so worried if this card goes down in price, or like that. Just thought wouldn't even cross my mind.
It's because at the time you were spending, you weren't investing. You were like throwing the money away, because you wanted the card forever, kind of thing.
But you can still do that now.
You can, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's gone away. I just think there's more speculators there, and therefore there's more people telling you, the collectors at home, what you should and shouldn't buy because your price.
So weird. Badly. Do apologise.
Yeah, but I would never ever. We don't value cards at Graded
No.
Gem, and we would never ever go to you. Oh, you should buy this card or you should grade this card because it will go up in value.
Apart from Hidden Fate.
Yeah.
We go on about that one every single week.
Yeah, but we'd never like. I guess how do you put it? Like really go in on a position and be like, this is guaranteed investment, because that's just dangerous.
No, it's just stupid as well. Like, if everyone buys the same thing, like it's Evolutions all over again, isn't it? Everyone keeps buying it, they keep printing it. It's not an investable set.
No.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, this hobby is so new to the investing side. Not only like the wave of people coming in are new to the hobby itself. They're also like a lot of Pokemon people don't know about investing at all, and like comparing it to like Magic the Gathering or all these other things where there's all sorts of people who have already made positions and already have sort of contacts to branch out to and all this sort of thing. That's like so brand new. It's basically people talking to each other on Instagram at the moment. That's like that's your networking for Pokemon. So it's still like the complete ground floor.
It is, yeah.
So it's like there's so much chaos going on, not only with prices right now, but also it's like a mad dash to meet new people, get involved in a new discussion, and learn so much more about the hobby, because it's still like relatively undiscovered for a lot of people, especially if they've only got into the hobby 2-3 years ago. There's so much more. Like if they're just watching a video of yours, they'll see a random Japanese promo card, or they'll see even like modern cards that people who were our age only like the WotC stuff, and they're like, that's a really awesome new set card from Cosmic Eclipse, for example. And it's like, yeah, that's a really, really cool card. Those full art trainer cards or whatever that you got. Yeah, just really, really awesome. And then they're like, oh, I want to investigate this, that, and the other now. So there's divergence in terms of what people care about as well.
Yeah.
And that's sort of also becoming a network in its own right, where people want to then branch out as they complete their own goals as well.
No, that's very. I don't think I could have put that better.
Yeah.
I think the hobby in itself, actually, you're correct. It's a new investment, isn't it? And I don't think that word was ever used. I mean, I never ever used that. I would never go on this camera and be like,
apart from like Alpha Investments.
Yeah, but the hobby itself is just finding its feet.
Yeah.
If you compare it to Magic, if you compare it to sports,
oh my days, compare it to sports.
Yeah, where these conversations were already going on about, I packed this card. This card is now worth $100. If I grade it, it's then worth $500, and then if I kept it for a year, it'd be worth $800.
Well, it's been going on for like 100 years in sports.
Yeah, but it's not been going on in Pokemon.
No.
Yeah.
It was just you liked Pokemon, so therefore you bought the booster box. And if you had a couple of cards you really liked, or you know Charizard normally it'd be the Charizard. You'd go and grade it, and you'd enjoy that whole process. It's interesting that I don't know how do new collectors look at investing?
Well, it's weird because they're all looking at people like us. We're doing YouTube videos on it. We're always talking about WotC. We're always talking about stuff like Hidden Fates. We're not talking about the weird stuff. Like the other day, I saw some stuff that I really like. Again, I see it every time, and I'm always like, oh, you know the SH card? I think it's from Secret Wonders, the shiny ones, the reverse balls from that.
Platinum.
I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh, they're sick. And every time I see them, they're sick. But we've never mentioned it in a video. Like, we've never talked about it. We always talk about base set, or fossil, jungle, or the Neo sets.
You know what the
it's kind of
irony
where
is?
we talk about it.
You know how we keep saying, we put Hidden Fates in the title?
We do keep
because it gets clicks. And it's interesting because if we put in that alternative investment video, if we put, should you collect primes?
Yeah.
That would have got half the views than putting alternative Pokemon investments. Even
it's all
that,
like clickbait.
It would have been the same, exactly the same video. So it's about creating that conversation, and then we're kind of baiting towards it, I guess.
If I made a video title saying "Should you invest in Radiant Collection?" get like 30 views.
Yeah,
Radiant Collection's cool though.
Radiant Collection is cool, and they don't come in tens.
No, they don't. They do not come in tens.
Stresses me right out.
Yeah.
But like it just doesn't happen. Everyone is investing in WotC. What else do you invest in? Gold stars? I don't know.
I think there's a lot of new people who are investing in modern product as well.
Yeah.
I think you see that a lot.
I mean like the big investors though.
Yeah.
Like, I've got money.
The thing is, like, you can be investing with £10. You can be investing with £100, £100,000. It doesn't matter what you're investing in, as long as you're putting your mindset to this will grow in the future. So a lot of newer people, they don't want to spend ridiculous money on certain cards, so they'll look at a lower barrier for entry, which is normally modern stuff. So you see a lot of people like salivating over, I don't know, like an XY base sealed booster box. Yeah. And like we've seen that come and go and like ignored it at times. Well, I opened it because I played.
Yeah.
But like some people just like did not care about that at all, sort of waved it on as a modern product at the time. And now there are people who have got into the hobby 2 years ago or whatever, and they're like, we never got to see these cards. There's some really big hits in here. These are things that I would really like to collect, and even if it's not nostalgic, it's a new experience for people.
It's something different to the Sun and Moon GXs, Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
The old, to be fair, I really like the EX era. If you go back, Capital EX, yeah. Ancient Origins was a great set. Obviously, I love Primal Clash with all the Groudons in it. I mean, why wouldn't I? But those sets, I guess they were always $100. I mean, I'm going to use dollars because, but they were always $100 for years. Mm-hmm. Like, they just didn't move because either Pokemon was printing them or no one was buying them.
How much is a booster box for XY now?
I don't know the actual value, but it's got to be at least like 4 or 5x, I would say, from the 100.
But that was only a year ago, wasn't it? Where it was like $100. Where you could probably, the Card World.
Yeah,
you could probably go and buy a booster load, 6 of them for $600, something like that.
I don't want to like go out and say it's only newer people who are looking at those sorts of products, but I think people who have been in the hobby, and had seen X and Y at the start, they would have got their fill and been like, I've completed it if I wanted to, or ignored it if I wanted to. And it's only really people who are looking back now being like, there's so many new sets and cards that I've never seen before, I must have them. And it's like, and people will want these in the future, but it's a lower price point to WotC. So there's an opportunity there. Like, that's what they're thinking, I feel.
I tell you what we're seeing a lot of lately. Shining Legends.
Yes.
Shining Legends is coming back in a big way.
Yes, it's huge. I kind of the reminiscence of the Shinings, isn't it? Like you're comparing them to Neo Rev and Neo Destiny, but some of the Shining Legends cards have been going for like £500 on PSA 10. And I think I'm right in saying that. Yeah, I think I'm right in saying that.
Shining Ho-Oh is obviously the best one.
That's a SM promo. I think it's one of the worst. But basically, that's only 2 years old. 3 years old. 2017,
I think
wasn't
it's
it?
3.
Three, yeah.
Oh wow, I'm old.
So that's 3 years old, and the amount of people who are like coming new into the hobby after Hidden Fates and going, oh, there's this thing called Shining Legends, and they've picked all of those out. It's incredible to see like how quickly. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? How quickly it kind of changes from being a £50 card to then 500 in a matter of a month.
Which is weirder because, like, what do you expect to see that kind of shoot up, right? If prices are going up, you expect all of that stuff just to go. You don't expect to see a Shining Legends card go boing.
The thing that makes sense for a bounce in WotC cards is that you can't buy WotC packs, but like you can buy modern packs.
Yeah.
The only thing that's weird about buying modern packs is because most of the time you only care about like 2 cards.
Yeah.
So like if you're buying modern, you have to buy a lot of modern. Like I opened 10 boxes of Burning Shadows, didn't hit the Charizard, moved on with my life. That's fine. You know, like people just miss at times, and then it's like, especially now, there were times when I was opening Burning Shadows, I could still play with all those cards and got value out of the other stuff that I got, you know. But if someone's buying like a case of Burning Shadows today, they miss the Charizard. They are beat.
Well, they're
really
devastated.
are beat. Yeah,
they're devastated. Like they've spent however much on that Burning Shadows, and then it's just it's not there.
Right?
It's not there. Well, it's not. I can't think of anything else. Can you think of anyone? Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean nothing compared.
Yeah. So you're going to spend your £1,000 or $1,000 on not a lot of product probably to be added, and then if you don't hit
just
that
statistically,
Charizard,
it gives you a statistically like close chance of getting Charizard, but not guaranteed.
But the weird thing with that Charizard, it's always in awful condition.
Yes, and that's also something that gets overlooked. Just because it's modern doesn't mean it's a 10.
No, not at all.
Yeah, certain modern sets suck.
Oh, it does. In comparison, that's why I don't get the Hidden Fates Charizard bit, because it's the same artwork, but that Charizard GX, the only reason it's not a 10 is because it's off-center.
Yeah.
The Burning Shadows one,
bad.
it's always got the white fickling on the card. Like they're very often 8/9s. Very often. They come back 10s rarely. Whereas the Charizard SV49, that comes back 10 90% of the time.
I mean, you got 2 of them out too.
Exactly.
There you
go. So I don't know. I guess we started this video by talking about the divergence of the collector. Is there a divergence?
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we all agree with that. Will the divergence continue, or will these new collectors become? Will they have their own like set? Oh, we've got in now.
Well, yeah, because you've got like the WotC supremacists, and then you've got the like super moderns, right? Like
supremacists.
You know what I mean? It does sound awful, but like the people who love WotC and are like nothing else matters. I will only collect a WotC first edition. Then you got the people like, I don't really care, it's too expensive. Collect modern.
Yeah.
And then you've got some people who are just like, oh, I'll have everything because I love Pokemon.
And I think there'll be people in different catchment areas. There'll be people who loved WotC intensely, but they're priced out of certain cards, and they still have the urge to open packs or still, feel like they're achieving with their own collection goals. Yeah. So they'll look to the other things because they can. And if people are doing well with modern, they'll have more income that they'd like to put into Pokemon or whatever, they can then cherry pick a WotC card here or there. You can't really collect WotC sets so easily unless you're in a very, very good financial position.
Yeah.
Or you're only doing it purely for investment. But if you're looking to lock a card away for yourself, you'd cherry pick, a Feraligatr that you like from one set and this from another set, Well,
you'd have to leverage your current collection.
Yeah.
That's how so if I was like, right, I'm going to go out and buy Jungle First Edition PSA 10, I'd have to be like, right, if worst comes to worst, I'd have to get rid of another WotC set. Mm-hmm. You'd have to leverage it. But I wouldn't want to do that because I'm not risking any of it. I love my sets. So but I'm keeping them because they're like bought and that's it. I guess from if you are an investor, if you had those positions, you can go ahead and I guess the word would be churn, isn't it? Because it would be churning it and churning it and churning it. You get that card, it goes up in value. You get rid of it. You get that one. Oh, I'll keep this one, and you could do it intensely. But even just a few of those people doing that has a major effect on the market.
Oh, for sure.
I think a lot of the inflated prices for modern is because of that as well. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't want to be harsh on anyone who's bought at high prices, but it feels like everyone needs to kind of take a chill pill. If you just literally look at, the pop reports of cards and the amount of time these cards have been out and the fact that sometimes they're still in print, these cards, that like you can pick the card up yourself. You don't need to buy a certain grade of a certain card. you know, for a price, even if you feel uncomfortable about it, because you've seen a lot of people do it at that price. You don't have to do it yourself.
Sports card money, right? And that just dwarves it.
I mean, that's fine.
I can buy everything that Pokemon has to offer. There you go.
It's not a race. It's not a race, though. It's not a race.
No.
I mean, just for some scope, I've been collecting for 12 years and I still haven't completed my like primary goal ever. I'm still going, you know.
He wants 10 position Charizard.
It's a slow burn, you know. You don't, and if you go intensely, that's when you're going to get yourself in trouble. So you need to just, you know, pick your battles and accept that there will always be like another card of basically any Pokemon card on the market, like again. So don't feel like you see it come up on eBay and be like, this one's mine 100%. Because you just don't need to have that.
Unless it's the prime promos.
Unless it's the prime. I guess I'm quite old-fashioned in the way I collect. I use a spreadsheet. Yeah, I got a spreadsheet. And I'm literally like, okay, I'll green that prime off. And I've literally got a spreadsheet of the primes and the Delta species. They're all greened off. And I know that sounds silly, but then I'll have a new spreadsheet for my next collection bit. But I won't be like, the Gengar EX and Blastoise, I haven't been like, right, that card's on the market, I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's gone up in price, it was $600, now it's $800, now it's $1,000. I'm not like, well, I need to buy it because it's just going to go $1,250, and it could. No, it definitely could, but I'm not going to rush into it off some pressure. Like, I will have it eventually.
Mainly from me.
Mainly from him. But I will have it eventually, and I know. I guess that's the same with you. Like, you know, you will get this goal eventually, so you're quite happy just picking them up when the opportunity arises.
Yeah, I mean, if I had been faster.
I think.
But you know, it's fine.
I think it's why I don't always have that urge to collect as much. Like, I'm just happy seeing the cards mainly because I just force you to collect.
Yeah,
I was like, buy this, Connor. You want this for your collection? You're like, no, I don't. I'm like, you do. So I think that's part of it for me. People ask like why I don't collect as much, but I think it's mainly because I get my thrills of that through you. I just live through you though.
Yeah, I massively enjoy collecting. I like getting the odd stuff. I always have. I think a lot of people have said like, why are you collecting advanced action cards? You've got Neo Destiny First Edition. Why the hell are you wasting your time on this?
Because they're cooler.
Yeah, but
they're lenticular.
I love them, and they're so much fun. Like,
and you can't even say lenticular, which makes it even more.
Yeah, that's what gets me every time. They're your favourite, and you can't say it.
Lenticular.
Boom.
But yeah, guys. I think the only advice we can ever really give is collect what you enjoy collecting. That's always the advice.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Also, don't overstretch yourself. Don't go and spend your entire life savings on one card if you can't. Like, if you're worried about it.
Yeah, if you're going into a Pokemon purchase going, I can't afford this to fall in value.
Oh, didn't know where he was going with that sentence.
What do you mean?
I thought he was going to say something else.
No, if you can't afford for it to fall in value and you just want to collect it, then just don't. Why put yourself under that pressure?
Oh yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that with any other asset. Like you wouldn't go, well, I could spend all of my money on this Alpha Romeo, it'll break, but you know.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do that.
No, you just wouldn't, would you?
Yeah, if you, I think that's just general collecting advice. Hopefully that was useful. We hope that we
went to a lot of tangents, but I think there was some nuggets in there. I think maybe.
Nuggets. It's good having you on. That was a bit of a quicker video because we've got to speak to another famous YouTuber in a moment.
The real YouTuber.
Yeah, you're going to meet him as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, which will be cool. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you didn't like the video, which is probably the case, please dislike it. But if you like the video and you want to see Joe more often, then like the video and then put in the comments, I want to see Joe more often. Yeah, that's cool.
If anyone's watched this far, do that, please.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you very much. Please, and he can do his normal thing.
Like the video. Bye.